Well, I'm happy to say that a lot of you guys are asking for God the Sequel Part 3, which tells me that a lot of you youngins, or maybe not so youngins, I don't know, are gaining a thirst for knowledge when it comes to religious studies, which I think is cool. Like I said before, I'm not a religious person, but I'm really fascinated when it comes to religion because I think it provides a wealth of knowledge that, we can all, even if you're not a religious person, you can pick and choose ideas from all these different religions and ways to make your life better. Admittedly, I haven't really found a whole lot of practical ways to use religion to my advantage. In a lot of ways, I'm spiritually lazy, but I'm still fascinated by it, and I'm glad that some of you guys are too. In fact, I want to say right now that I was glad that some of you guys clarified some mistakes that I made when I was talking about the Buddha story. One of them I'll say right now is that he actually, when he ventured outside the palace walls, he saw 4 things that he had never seen before. One was death, one was aging, one was suffering, and sickness, and one was the pain of childbirth. That was the 4th thing that he saw. I forgot to mention that on the last one. I'm a little rusty. I used to study religion a lot when I was younger. I was a sociology major in college. I'm a college dropout. I never graduated. I had to stop because my parents cut me off, and I was getting into a bunch of trouble when I was younger, and so they cut me off, and I had to learn how to support myself and go out and get a job. And working full-time and going to school full-time was just way too much for me. I mean, you literally cannot have a life when you're doing that. When you're not working, you're doing homework. When you're not doing homework, you're in class. And that was too much for me, so I ended up dropping out of college, and I never went back. But I was still happy that I got the education that I got while I was there. And when I was in sociology, or when I was a sociology major, we studied a lot of history. So I loved learning about U.S. history, and then from that, I loved learning about religion because sociology is all about changing social movements, and religion is probably the most powerful force behind, most of the world's social movements all throughout history. And today I want to talk about Taoism really quick. The reason I want to talk about it really quick is because I haven't studied it a whole lot. I'm familiar with it, and I understand the basic concepts of it, but I didn't study it as much as Buddhism. So if you guys want to leave a comment, if you know more about Taoism than I do, then go for it. By the way, I don't get all my information from Wikipedia. I actually do read books from time to time. I used to read a lot. I don't really read too much anymore, but before I was like, there was this time when I was like 18 where I just like this fucking spark just lit off inside me where I wanted to learn as much as I could. So Taoism originates in China around 600 BC, and everything that we know or we can get from Taoism we get from the Tao Te Ching, which is a book. It's like basically the Taoist Bible. It's written by a man named Lao Tzu, whose name can be translated a number of ways, one of them being the old boy, I think. But there's really no way for us to know if Lao Tzu even existed. But by historical accounts, what we can gather is that he lived in China around 600 BC. He was a really smart, enigmatic, and charismatic old man. And one day he decided to up and leave and head to Tibet. And he was stopped at the gates by a man who said, "No, man, you got to stay. You got to teach us all the stuff that you know." And Lao Tzu was like, "No, man, I'm peacing out. I got to get out of here. I'm on a spiritual journey." And so the guy pleaded once more, "Well, if you're not gonna stay, will you at least, write down everything that you know so that we can learn from you?" And he said, "Okay, I can do that." So he went back to his house and he jammed out this book in a few days called the Tao Te Ching. So the word Tao is translated to mean the way. And the basic idea behind it is that it's the driving force behind everything that's in the universe. Nature, the sun, the stars, you, me, a dog, whatever. Everything that's behind it is the Tao. And we owe it to ourselves as human beings to put aside our egos and to put aside our ambitions and to become one with the Tao, to fully kind of integrate ourselves with the way of the universe. This sounds a lot like Buddhism. In fact, when Buddhism and Taoism combined, they basically made Zen Buddhism, which is a sect of Buddhism that owes a great deal to Taoism. It wouldn't exist if it wasn't for Taoism. And 5 minutes is just way too short to talk about a religion, but basically I want to spark a conversation with you guys. And I do read a lot of the comments. For the first day or two, I read all the comments for the first 3,000 comments. So if you guys know more about it than I do, feel free to share your knowledge. But I want to end it with this little quote from the Tao Te Ching. This religion heavily emphasizes humility and putting aside your own lofty ambitions. And this quotation I really like. He who stands on tiptoe doesn't stand firm. He who rushes ahead doesn't go far. He who tries to shine dims his own light. Which, take from that what you will, but I really dig that quote. Again, hope you guys enjoyed this. And I'm going to peace out. See you later.